Late yesterday, there was news that came out about the Sharon Otieno case that shocked very many Kenyans. The news was that one of the cars police believe was involved in the kidnapping of the late Sharon Otieno had been found. And this vehicle belonged to a man called Caspar Obiero. And it was said that Caspar Obiero was a personal assistant to Hellen Obado. Hellen Obado, of course, is the wife of the Migori governor, Hellen Obado. This news really excited some people who have been pushing a certain theory. And this theory they're pushing is that the murder of the late Sharon Otieno has got absolutely nothing to do with the governor of Migori, and that it may have everything to do with somebody who is close to the governor. So the people pushing this theory were delighted. It was almost as if they were saying, you see, we told you people, you see? To drive their point further home, another arrest, that of Naftali Odhiambo, who is a brother to Hellen Obado, seemed to confirm their theory even further. And then to cap it all, it was announced that Hellen Obado herself, the wife to the governor, had been summoned for questioning by investigators. Now I suspect those people had made bets. I know some people bet on these things. Those people had made bets on this issue. I suspect that some have already collected. Because to them, it's obvious. It is now very obvious. It is now clear in black and white. Now, hold your horses. The world over, murder investigations are not conducted like that. However, it is true that when people get arrested and when people get questioned, it gives the observer, the person who's not inside the investigation, that is you and me, an inkling, or a direction, where the investigation is heading, and a possible suspect. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with having a theory. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Indeed, I'm sure very many of us like watching murder mysteries on TV. And as we go along, we try and figure out, ahead of the people actually investigating it, we try and figure out who the murderer might be. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I would encourage people to do that. Not on this case, but on murder mysteries on TV. Because apart from being entertainment, it exercises your brain. You think, and it does also something else even more important. It helps you, learn about human nature. Because human nature is complex but understandable, especially where things like motive come in. And so in saying what I'm about to say, I'm not condemning those with that unique theory. Indeed, I am not saying that they can't think, because obviously they're thinking out of the box. And people who can think out of the box are thinkers. And so in my view, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay? But let's move on. And today, I want to give you my views why I think that in this instance, that theory does not fly. Okay, I will give you my reasons. Now let's start with Mr. Caspar Obiero. Initial reports said that he is a personal assistant to the First Lady of Migori. Later, after this initial shocking report had come out, later on, we were told that actually he's a clerk in Migori County and that he runs errands regularly for the governor, Hellen Obado. So which is which? Which is the true version? Now, just to quickly remind you, Mr. Caspar Obiero is said to be the owner of the vehicle which has been linked to the kidnapping of Sharon Otieno, and later murder. And so I would agree that indeed it is important to establish exactly where he fits in all this and determine whether he runs errands for the governor or is a personal assistant to the First Lady. Now, the truth is, we do not have enough information yet. However, there is a very high possibility we should take note of at this juncture. When you run personal errands for a governor, in a vast majority of the cases, it will involve errands that have something to do with those close to the governor. Isn't that correct? And that would include his children, his wife, his relatives, but especially his wife. And so in my view, it is quite possible that if a lot of the errands he ran for the governor had something to do with Hellen Obado, the First Lady, that people interviewed could very easily refer to him as a PA to the First Lady. That is a very high possibility. But let's leave that for now, because we don't have any more information on that. Now, let's move on to the arrest of the brother of the First Lady, Abwana Naftali Odhiambo. In my view, this is the first instance that we have had something very strongly linking the First Lady to this investigation. And that is our own brother. There's no doubt about that. In other words, the PA is very hazy. It's not clear. But her brother, very clear. And then, of course, the second instance are the reports that the First Lady herself has been summoned by investigators for interrogation, to be asked a few questions. Not arrested, interrogated. Of course, sometimes interrogation leads to arrest. But then we also know that in other instances, police have done just a direct arrest. Like in the case of her brother, the brother of the First Lady, Naftali Odhiambo, he was arrested. And the same with many of the other suspects linked to this case. They've just simply been arrested, and then interrogation has gone on as they're under arrest. However, the First Lady has not been arrested. She has simply been summoned in for questioning. Now, we should also take note of the fact that the other person who has been arrested, along with Caspar Lobiero, is Abwana Elvis Omondi. Now, Abwana Elvis Omondi is a police officer. He's a police officer attached to the security detail of the governor of Migori. Now, let's try to briefly tie up all this. Those who have the theory, the unique theory, that a person close to the governor is involved and not the governor himself, a close person like his wife, don't have much to link, to be able to support that theory of theirs. There is only her brother, and somebody who may be her personal assistant. Some people have said it was a personal assistant, who is the owner of the vehicle that police are linking, in fact they're saying they're very sure, was involved in the kidnap deal that led to the murder of Sharon Otieno. And of course, her being summoned for questioning. That's about it. Now, if you look on the other side, at the people linked to the governor, starting with the personal assistant, and moving to the bodyguard who I've just mentioned today, and many, many others in custody, the list is very long. And not only that, the governor himself was called in for questioning long before his wife now has been summoned. And so what all this tells us is that the investigation would appear not to be heading in the direction of the First Lady of Migori County. That is what it appears to me very clearly. However, it is also true to say that murder investigations are full of surprises. And anything can happen, including the investigation suddenly heading in a direction that nobody expected. Now we'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll do something very interesting. We are going to hear what the First Lady of Migori has to say about all this murder issue. And one thing I'm very sure of, whatever we will hear, her side of the story, not a single thing will be a lie. And I'll explain why when we come back. Don't go away. Now, we have used body language before to establish the truth on this channel, and we were very, very successful. And that should hardly be surprising, because body language is an exact science. It's not guesswork. Body language does not lie. Okay? In fact, if there's a contradiction between what somebody is saying and their body language, always ignore what they are saying. Their body language is the correct position. I am, of course, referring to the case of the IEBC Chief Executive Officer, Ezra Chiloba. When the Supreme Court was making a very important ruling concerning the servers, you know, the servers with the 2017 election results, Bwana Chiloba was in court, and we observed his body language very, very carefully. Yeah, and it's just amazing how much we all learned. Yeah, of course, everything played out exactly, yeah, the way the body language had spoken to us in court that day. Now, on the top right-hand corner of your screens right now, you'll see a small text link. Yeah, if you click on it, you'll be able to open that video on a separate window, and you can go to it later. Yeah, and when you take in that video, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You will be able to judge for yourself. Of course, carefully look at the date. There were a lot of things we didn't know then. Okay, but you'll be able to judge for yourself that on that one we scored 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm not trying to praise this channel. I'm not trying to praise myself. But the truth is, body language never lies. So we shall read the body language of the First Lady during the controversial press conference that Governor Obado called at the Serena Hotel. The objective of that presser was, of course, to tell the world that he had nothing to do with the murder of Sharon Otieno. Now, one of the signs we saw, a couple of times, was the tilting of the head. Now, tilting of the head is a signal of vulnerability, being vulnerable. It is also a signal of submission. Now, to be able to read body language correctly and accurately, it is very important to be able to attach it to the correct situation. I will give you a quick example which is not related to what we're discussing here, so that I make this very clear. Now, if you're talking to a lady and she tilts her head, it means she likes you. However, it could also mean that she likes what you're saying. You know, those are two very different things. So how do you find the correct one of the two? If you're talking about something, change the subject completely. If the head stops tilting, then it's what you're saying. It's not you. That she likes. However, if the head remains tilted, then it's very clear she really likes you. Now, human beings are animals, and we have animal instincts, which could be similar to the other members of the animal kingdom. In other words, our body language is an animal instinct in us, and that's why it can never lie, because it's natural. We do it unconsciously. Now, to quickly link what we're talking about here to the animal kingdom, wild animals, so that we all understand very clearly what we're doing here. Wild animals which bite the neck and kill, you will sometimes see them in an encounter, and then one of the animals will tilt its head, exposing its neck. They are not inviting the other animal to bite that neck and kill them. What they're doing is submitting. And what will often happen is that the fight will end there. Okay? And the victorious animal will not go any further. And I'm not talking about a lion hunting an antelope and the antelope exposing its neck. No way. I'm talking about a lion involved with a fight with another lion, for example. Now, with submission comes sadness, dejection, shyness, and even disgust. Now, let me just repeat those four, because they're all present in this particular case of the First Lady. Sadness, dejection, shyness, and disgust. In my view, I don't think those are the reactions of a murderer, or a murderess, if you want to put it like that. Now, let us further confirm the feeling of disgust, or rather, the body language that emphasized disgust, apart from the general tilting of the head. Now, there's another reaction we saw very clearly, and that is the head tilted down, but also pulled back. Now, let me give you an example. If somebody brought to you a can of beef, canned beef is very sweet, or some other food, and you are hungry, but when this can was opened, what happens? Apart from the food, you see worms crawling inside. What would be the body reaction? The body would cringe. The body language would be the head would be tilted down and pulled back in disgust. Worms, yuck! Now in that case, this particular signal from the body would be very extreme, because it's extreme, worms are extreme. But in another instance, the reaction of the body language would be the same, but it would be less extreme. Like a man who is 200 years old and does not have any money, asking you out for a date. Maybe that is a bad example, because maybe for some people the reaction would be extreme. Anyway, you get my gist. This was the other very clear body language that we saw at this presser. So there it is. We have learned quite a lot, at least I have. It is very clear that if somebody had organized for somebody else to be murdered and they came to this presser, they would not have shown this body language. They would not have spoken like this with their bodies. The reaction would have been very, very different. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.